Come to order. I would ask everyone to stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's invocation is being offered by Councilman Lonnell Matthews.
Thank you. Let us bow our heads. Father, tonight, please give health to those that are sick. Please give direction to those that are misguided. Please give joy to those that are in pain. Please direct our decisions as we make decisions to make Nashville the best city that it possibly can be. And please bless our leaders that are in the federal government and the state government, Father, as we go through trying times. Bless the holiday season and bless all the citizens that they may enjoy these holiday seasons. These and other prayers we ask in your most precious name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for the adoption of the minutes of our meeting on November the 15th? We have a motion and a second. Without objection, the minutes will stand approved. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you very much. Before we begin tonight, I would first like to offer our thoughts and prayers to the family of Vic Varallo. He is a former council member, and we all lost him a few days ago. But on another note, I'd like to say congratulations to Councilmember Brady Banks. Thaddeus came into the world today 9 pounds, so congratulations. We have 2 presentations this evening. The first one is by Councilman Tigert. I would like to invite Donna Nicely and Margaret Ann Robinson, Jerry Nicely, and other supporters and friends that are with Donna to come to the front, please. All the way to the front, where Charlie is.
As Donna comes up here blushing, as always, and gracious as always, and her family, and Margaret, and staff members that supported Donna in the efforts for so many years. Council members, this is a face that, for new council members, that may be a new face for you because she recently retired after many, many years as the head of our library system. And it was under this young lady's leadership that the Nashville library system grew into the top library in the country. So we're going to honor her this evening, and I'm just going to read just a very, very few snippets of some of her accomplishments, and then we'll see if anyone else wants to say anything, and then we'll turn it over to Donna. But under Donna Nicely's directorship of the Nashville Public Library, she was a driving force in establishing, shaping, and leading our library into the 21st century. Some of her accomplishments include the renovation and addition of the Pruitt Library, the remodeling of the East Thompson Lane and Edge Hill libraries, the building of the new Green Hills, Madison, Hermitage, Edmondson Pike, Bordeaux, and Goodlettsville libraries, the building of the new Main Library, the opening of the Civil Rights Room, the opening of the Special Collections Center, the founder of Bringing Books to Life program, the founder of the Totally Outstanding Teen Advocates for the Library program, Nashville's International Puppet Festival in 2008, and our Downtown Puppet Festival in 2011, the introduction of digital formats, downloadable audio, video, ebooks, and music, the remodeling of the Teen Center, job and teaching labs. The list, as you can tell, goes on and on and on. So it's our great pleasure as members of the Metro Council to honor you upon your retirement and thank you for your service to our city.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very, very much. It's been an honor and a privilege to be your librarian for 16 years. I have loved the job. It's been a productive 16 years. We've done some really wonderful projects, and there are some wonderful projects coming up. So be sure to invite me back when they come on board, okay? So thank you very much. I appreciate the honor. Thank you.
A city with a fine library is a fine city. Ho, ho, ho. And that's as good today as it was 16 years ago. Thank all of you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Our next presentation is being offered by Council Member Edith Langster. Congratulations.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And as Ms. Nicely and her entourage are leaving, I would ask ladies and gentlemen of the council who signed on with me, I believe everyone did, but if you would like to join me here in recognizing Rotier's Restaurant, I wish you would come forward now. I'm sorry they didn't bring any hamburgers, but everyone knows where they're located. Would the family of Rotier's please join me here at the podium? And we also have former Councilman Morris Haddocks. Stand here. Resolution number RS 2011-73, a resolution recognizing Rotier's Restaurant. Whereas Rotier's Restaurant has become a landmark in Davidson County since its creation some 56 years ago, when this family-owned business was established by Evelyn Rotier with her late husband John Rotier in 1945, who were the guiding force behind this thriving eatery while serving some of Nashville's best hamburgers. And whereas Rotier's has been recognized in several news articles and periodicals for its hamburgers. The restaurant's simplified menu, quick service, and orders to go, and they get them ready in a hurry. And whereas Rotier's was a hit with writer George Montz, who has sampled hundreds of burgers as chronicled in his book, Hamburger America. And after recently visiting Nashville, he named Rotier's as one of his top 10 great places in the United States to have a burger. And whereas it is fitting and proper that the Metropolitan Council recognizes and congratulates Rotier's on being featured in USA Today's September 2nd, 2011 issue and applaud their dedication and commitment to the service of the citizens with this utmost excellence. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County that we honor on this evening Rotier's Restaurant. At this time, I'd ask former Councilman Haddocks to present it to Jacob Cross, if you would, Councilman.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We're very honored to be here on behalf of Edith Taylor Langster and the Metro Council. We really appreciate it. Our family is very appreciative for these awards. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I'd like to call your attention to some items on your desks. There is an announcement of the vacancies for the public administrator, public guardian, and public trustee. The nomination period will close Tuesday, December the 13th at 4 p.m. There is also a recommendation letter for these 3 vacancies from Judge Randy Kennedy on your desk as well. We're now at the point on our agenda for elections and confirmations. Councilmember Stein.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee interviewed 5 first-time appointees tonight. The first is a first-time appointee to the Agricultural Extension Board, Mr. Mark Kursky. The committee recommends his approval, 8-4, none against, and I so move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Second.
Motion passes.
Second, we interviewed Mr. Jason Smith for the Community Corrections Advisory Board, and unanimously, 8-4, none against, recommend him to the council, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Third, we interviewed Dr. Carl Van Deventer for appointment to the Hospital Authority. The committee recommends 8-4, none against, and I move his approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
The committee interviewed Mr. Giff Thornton for an appointment to the Metropolitan Development and Housing Authority Board. The committee recommends 8-4, none against, his approval, and I so move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes.
And last, we interviewed Ms. Kenya Hall for an appointment to the Sexually Oriented Business Licensing Board. The committee recommends her appointment, 8-4, none against, and I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Mark Kursky, Jason Smith, Dr. Carl Van Deventer, Giff Thornton, and Kenya Hall. On behalf of the Metropolitan Council, thank you for your willingness to serve our great city and to donate your time and expertise. Okay, let's see if I can do this right this time. Right. First on our agenda tonight are the resolutions that are on the consent agenda. On the agenda resolutions, we are considering 97 through 108 on the consent agenda. And on memorializing resolutions, we are considering 109 and 110. I'm going to call on the various committee chairs to give their reports. First is Councilman McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Let's see. Budget and Finance voted to approve RS 2011-94, -95, -96, -97.
We're only on 97 through 108 right
okay.
now.
RS 2011-97, -98, -99, -100, -101, -102, -103, -105, -106, and -107. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, what was the last bill number, resolution number? 108 and 108 with unanimous approval.
And 104? Was that on your committee? Okay, never mind.
No,
Sorry.
ma'am. No, ma'am, it was not.
We're getting the hang of this new system. Councilmember Tigert.
Vice Mayor, 97 through 108, I don't believe we had any. We had 95 and 96.
Sorry. Councilmember Mitchell.
RS 2011-97, RS 2011-98 were both approved 5-0 by the Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Councilman Mitchell. Councilmember Langster.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Health, Hospital, and Social Service voted to approve RS 2011-99, 5-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Housing Committee voted 5-0 against on RS 2011-100 and 2011-101.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hunt.
Public Works Committee voted to approve RS 2011, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 9, and 0.
Thank you. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning approved Resolution 102 and 104, 9-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Matthews.
Education approved
109 and
resolutions 109 and 110, both 6-4, 0 against.
Thank you. Resolution RS 2011-97 approves an application for a state grant for Homeland Security preparedness activities. RS 2011-98 approves a state grant to the Metro Police Department for continuation of an enhanced DUI enforcement initiative. RS 2011-99 approves a grant from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to the Metro Board of Health to create a comprehensive strategy to address issues and barriers to responsible fatherhood. RS 2011-100 approves a grant from the State Department of Labor and Workforce Development to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to establish programs and deliver services to dislocated workers. RS 2011-101 approves a grant from the State Department of Labor and Workforce Development to the Nashville Career Advancement Center to establish programs and deliver services to adult workers. RS 2011-102 authorizes the acquisition of additional easements or other property rights for an upgrade to the Munn Road Pump Station. RS 2011-103 approves a contract between Metro Government and Red River Ranch LLC for the processing, disposal, and recycling of brush and yard waste. RS 2011-104 authorizes Edward Smith to construct, install, and maintain an aerial encroachment at 121 3rd Avenue South. RS 2011-105 approves a contract between Metro Department of Water and Sewage Services and the State Department of Transportation to relocate certain facilities along Concord Road between Sunset Road and Nolensville Pike. RS 2011-106 approves a grant between Metro Department of Water and Sewage Services and the State Department of Transportation to relocate certain water and sewer lines for the West Lawn Drive Bridge project. RS 2011-107 authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Kelly Cox against Metro Government for the amount of $20,000. RS 2011-101 authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claim of Tanya Ringer against Metro Government for the amount of $40,000. RS 2011-109 supports the Metro Nashville Board of Education's decision to oppose state legislation that would provide vouchers to pay for private school tuition. RS 2011-110 requests the Tennessee State Department of Education to consider making written feedback a requirement of teacher evaluations. Councilmember Stein, do you have a motion?
I move approval of all the bills on the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Now we will go back to items that are not on the consent agenda. The first is RS 2011-94, adopts the debt management policy for Metro Government as promulgated by the Department of Finance. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted to approve 9-4, none against, and I move approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next, we need to take BL 2011-40 on third reading out of order because we have to consider it before we consider the next one on our agenda. BL 2011-40 amends the Metro Code relative to the privilege tax on the sale of tickets to events at Municipal Stadium. Councilmember Westerholm.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Second. Have a motion and a second. We need a machine vote. Madam Clerk, please close the machines.
Aye 36, no 0, 1 abstention.
Motion passes. Next on our agenda is RS 2011-95, approves the issuance of taxable public improvement revenue bonds for improvements to LP Field. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilman Tiger.
The Convention, Tourism, and Public Facilities Committee approved 4-4, 1 against.
Councilman McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted to approve 9-4, none against, and I move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Seeing no yes, Councilmember Evans.
I need to be recorded as an abstention.
So noted. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to rise again, as I did 2 weeks ago, to express my concerns over what we're doing here. It is not that I disagree that these improvements are not warranted and are not needed and wouldn't be a positive addition to the stadium. My concern is that the deal is upside down. You know, we're being asked to float a bond issue for $28 million that has a 25-year maximum maturity. And Mr. Riebling has provided us with information that some of those bonds are going to come due earlier than that, but we've got a 28-year obligation, which puts us 9 years beyond the current Titans lease. So we don't have any guarantee that people are going to be sitting in the seats over there that this revenue is supposed to be coming from once this lease expires. If we have an unfortunate 1 or 2 seasons, such as we had last year, there is no guarantee that folks are not going to be bailing from their PSLs. And so the possibility exists that we could have vacant seats over there. We don't have any guarantees from the Titans organizations that they're willing to help us in the out years of this obligation. They are not willing to, they've said that they're going to have additional events to raise revenues, bring in folks spending money, their sales tax dollars, they're going to be their contribution. But they're not willing to say we would be willing to escrow some of the profits of these extra events toward these out years to help Metro with this obligation that we're asking them to take. They're not willing to allow the city itself to use the stadium when there is vacancies, that we could do that and be able to generate profits for ourselves. They're not willing to do anything except ask us to take the total responsibility for this obligation. And we're backing this with the promise of non-tax revenues. We already provide that promise for the convention center. We're going to pass probably here in a few minutes another bill that provides that non-tax revenue to the arena in the refinancing of those bonds. The materials that we're going to purchase here have a life expectancy of 15 years, which is 10 years before they're paid for. We are being asked by an organization to take the total responsibility for doing something that they want us to do, and they have not been willing to say, we will help to guarantee that in these out years, part of this cost is going to be shared by us. That's upside down. Now, if I'm the only one in the chamber that sees it that way, then I'm willing to accept that status. The only thing that we can do as a council would be to vote against this and send it back to the Sports Authority and say, we understand what you want to do, we agree with what you want to do, but we disagree with the mechanism that you have provided us to do it. We want you to take another look and come back to us at a time later when there is a more acceptable solution here. So I'm going to vote for this on the principle that it's upside down. It does not make sense. Nobody in business would do something like this with a tenant. And I'm asking you to consider voting with me against this.
Councilmember Dominy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I want to make this statement. I am not opposed to improving the stadium. And I commend the fact that this is set up to have those who use the stadium to fund this rather than the taxpayers. But that does not take the taxpayers off the hook. And as my colleague has stated before, it's upside down. We're funding equipment for twice its useful life, 10 to 15 years beyond its useful life, with a bond. We're funding that bond with revenues 8 years beyond the term of the lease currently. And we're bonding it and we're collateralizing with the non-tax revenue. And there's a sheet of paper on your desk that was provided to me earlier, or late last week, from Rich Riebling, of the bonds that are currently outstanding that are collateralized with our non-tax revenue of the city. Currently $1.1 billion, 4 different bonds that are collateralized with that source of revenue. It's not that large of a revenue source. And if it goes away, we have to come up with revenue to make up for what it's currently being spent on. Because then I say go away, if it has to be used to cover the current bonds we're indebted to. I ask that it be sent back to the Sports Authority to be properly vetted and to address these concerns. I ask you to support me in voting no, and we send it back and get something that's responsible. Because as it is right now, while there has been movement in the direction to get it close to where those bonds and contract terms expire close to the same time, we're not there yet. And I ask you to vote no, send it back to the Sports Authority, and let's get one that's appropriate for the taxpayers.
Councilmember Stanley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to support this resolution this night because I was on the council in 1996 when this Houston order relocation was brought before the Metro Council. I voted against the Houston order relocation because this is a heavily laden incentive deal, and it gives everything, almost everything, to the Houston Oilers, now the Tennessee Titans. And what's more, the tax-paying citizens of our city have to pay for the Houston Oilers or the Tennessee Titans. But that stadium over there is a municipal stadium. It belongs to the city. We built it with taxpayer dollars. And $120 million of that money that was used to build that stadium came from the $4 million for 30 years out of the Water Services Department. I didn't really appreciate that, but on May the 7th of 1996, they had a referendum. And the referendum was supported by 59% of the registered voters in Davidson County. 74,000 people voted in favor of the Houston Oilers relocation up to Nashville, Tennessee, and the construction of the stadium. Only 51,000 voted against it. Now, I'm not really that much in favor of this type of maintenance. The prioritization that this stadium receives is unacceptable. I really feel like we should really base all our decisions, all our money, on upgrading the infrastructure all throughout Davidson County. But because we have an obligation with this deal that was supported by the council, and by the citizens at a referendum, we have that obligation to maintain this stadium. If we don't, then the Tennessee Titans will be gone. And that'll be one big empty stadium right over there on the west bank, on the east bank of the Cumberland River. I'm going to support this night, but I would like for the Sports Authority And I appreciate all the council members who have voiced any opposition to this resolution. I will support this because we have an obligation, and we are obligated as representatives of the city. So I ask you to support this. Thank you.
Seeing no one else wishing to speak, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Motion passes. Sorry, we will need a machine vote. Madam Clerk, please close the machines.
Aye 33, no 3.
Motion passes. Next is RS 2011-96. Approves the issuance of taxable public facility revenue refunding bonds, Series 2012, by the Sports Authority. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Tiger.
Convention Tourism Public Facilities Committee voted to approve, 5 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember McGuire.
Budget and Finance voted to approve, 10 for, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on introduction and first reading, and we do have one late zoning bill. Councilmember Perdue, what is the nature of the emergency?
Well, the urgency of this bill, Madam Speaker, is that we had to do it tonight in order to get it for the public hearing in January. Okay. It's from a CS to an SP. The people that's trying to get it also has a car lot. The property there is a car lot. So if I could get the vote, I'd appreciate it. Okay. Thank you.
It changes 4.93 acres from CS to SP zoning for property located at 1809 Gallatin Pike to permit automobile sales used, automobile service, automobile repair, car wash, and all uses permitted in the CS district. You want to make a motion for approval? Is there any objection to a suspension of the rules?
I move approval.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion for all other bills on introduction and first reading? We have a motion and a second. Councilman Claiborne?
Yes, I'd like to pull 2011-64, please.
Councilmember Stanley?
Yes, I was just going to say the same thing. I'd like to pull 2011-64.
Okay, I don't have it. 2011-64 is an ordinance abandoning approximately 530 feet of a 2-inch water main and easement on properties located at 2801, 2815 Lebanon Pike at the southeast corner of Lebanon Pike and Donaldson Pike. Councilman Stanley, you're the sponsor.
Yes, I'd just like to pull this bill because one of the things I have...
what is your motion for approval, or?
No, I just want to withdraw the bill.
Okay, your motion is to withdraw.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we have a second, Councilman.
I just want to mention the fact that this is no longer in District 14. It's now in District 15. It needs to have an appropriate sponsor. That's the District 15 councilman. It should not be myself.
Okay, we have a motion to withdraw in a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now back on the vote on all other bills on introduction and first reading. We have a motion and a second. Councilmember Todd.
Yes, I'd like to be shown as abstaining on 2011-69.
So noted. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on second reading. First one is BL 2011-4, amends the Metro Code to require quarterly stormwater reports to be submitted to the Metro Council and the Mayor. Councilmember Stanley.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I wish to defer this indefinitely, make a motion to defer indefinitely with a brief comments.
Committee reports, Councilman Hunt.
The Public Works Committee recommend deferral indefinite at 9-4-0 against.
Councilmember McGuire.
Budget and Finance recommended disapproval, 1 in favor, or excuse me, 11 in favor, 1 against.
Thank you, Councilmember Stanley.
I ask that this bill be deferred indefinitely because I have been in discussions with the water officials, and they realize that this is an issue. This stormwater drainage issue is one that is comprehensive throughout all of Davidson County, but it varies from district to district how many projects are going to be found in each council district. And there are some council members that get that annual report. That's a massive report, annual report, and they just throw it away, especially those council members that have no drainage projects in their district or have very little. I have quite a few. I have the Cumberland River, the Stones River, the Stoner Creek, and McCrory Creek, all of them natural waterways running throughout District 14. And I think it'd be great for the water services officials that are responsible for this program, for administering this program, to be more open with the council and to provide us with semi-annual reports at least. I know I heard one council member at the Budget and Finance Committee meeting mention that he thought that possibly semi-annual, an amendment for a semi-annual report could be beneficial for the city in general. I think it would be beneficial for this report. So with that, I would like to just defer this indefinitely, and I'll work with any council members in the Water Services Department.
Seeing no other discussion on indefinite deferral, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-32 amends the Metro Procurement Code to require contractors for Metro government construction projects to present proof of a valid business tax license before receiving payment. Councilmember Tiger.
Committee reports, please.
Councilman McGuire.
Budget and Finance, at the request of the sponsor, voted to defer indefinitely, 12-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
My motion is to defer indefinitely. I continue to work with the Finance Department on working out some details.
We have a motion and a second for indefinite deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-49 amends the Metro Code pertaining to the regulation and operation of motorized non-taxi passenger vehicles for hire. Councilmember Blaylock.
Committee reports.
Councilmember McGuire.
Budget and Finance deferred by rule, 12-4, none against.
Councilmember Tiger.
Convention, Tourism, Public Facilities deferred by rule, 5-0.
Councilmember Bennett.
Transportation deferred by rule, 5-4-0 against.
Councilmember Mitchell.
Public Safety deferred by rule, 5-0.
Councilmember Blaylock.
I'd like to defer this one meeting.
We have a motion and a second for a one meeting deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-50 authorizes the purchasing agent and the Metro Employee Benefit Board to extend the current medical plan contracts for up to 2 years. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Personnel Committee voted 5-4-0 against.
Councilmember McGuire.
Budget and Finance voted to approve 12-4, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-51 approves 2 agreements related to the acquisition of the Ravenwood Country Club property for use as a public park and open space. Councilmember Stanley.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning and Zoning voted 9-0 to approve.
Councilmember McGuire.
Budget and Finance voted to approve 12-4, none against.
And who is giving the Parks report? Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Jernigan, sorry.
Parks voted approved, 9 in favor, 0 against.
Councilmember Stanley.
I move approval with a couple of comments, please.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman.
I appreciate the negotiations that the individuals from the Finance Department and the Parks Department have gone in to obtain this property. I think that one of the things I'd like to get out to the individual citizens who are going to be impacted by this obtaining of this property is the fact that there will be, in 2 years, a master plan probably developed. And with that master plan development will be community meetings. I will be co-sponsoring those community meetings with the Finance Department and the Parks Department to have those community meetings and take input from the citizens as to how this 180 acres is going to be used. One last thing I'd like to say is that this 180 acres is only part of approximately 1,100 acres in the Bend and Stones River, the Cumberland River, and behind Hermitage Hills. And it's going to be designated for at least 2 years to be maintained as open space. The infrastructure in and around the area is wholly substandard, and there are no developers that want to touch public infrastructure to bring it up to scale. It's going to be our responsibility to bring any infrastructure up to scale, and we have to pay that money to do that. But this open space is not going to be doing that. It's going to be allowing general public as well as members to use the 18-hole golf course, and also the open space is directly contiguous with the Stones River Greenway. So I move approval at this time.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-52 accepts a combined contribution totaling $60,000 from Hillsborough Plaza Retail Partners, LLC, and Davis Street Land Company of Tennessee, LLC, toward the cost of signal improvements at the intersection of Abbott Martin Road and Hillsborough Pike. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Harrison. Councilmember Hunt.
Public Works Committee approved 9-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Duvall.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Traffic and Parking Committee passed a bill 8-4, 0 against. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted to approve 12-4, none against, and I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-53 authorizes the acceptance of a right of entry and easement from Grand Ole Opry LLC for property located at 116 Opry Place to install a fire hydrant. Councilmember Dow.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning and Zoning voted 9-0 to approve.
Councilmember Hunt.
Public Works approved 9-4, 0 against.
And I move for approval.
Councilmember Dow.
I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2011-54, authorizes the acquisition of an easement for property located at 900 Old Hickory Boulevard for an upgrade to the Hillview Water Pumping Station. Councilmember Todd.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning and Zoning voted 9-4, 0 against to approve.
Councilmember Hunt.
Public Works approved 9-4, 0 against.
Councilmember McGuire.
Budget and Finance voted to approve 12-4, none against.
Councilmember Todd.
I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-55 adopts the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance map for the metropolitan government. Councilmember Hunt.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning and Zoning voted 9-4, 0 against to approve.
Councilmember Hunt.
Public Works approved 9-4, 0 against, and I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-2 amends the Metro Code to allow a $1 litigation tax on all cases in the general sessions and juvenile courts to be used for centers that handle victim offender mediation and other community mediation matters. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. With all committee reports in, I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-31 amends the Metro Code regulating the acceptance of food and beverages for Metro government employees elected. Oh, sorry. 2011-3 amends the Metro Code to allow recreational athletic fields and associated structures to be constructed within the floodway under certain conditions. Councilmember Tiger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would move approval with a brief explanation.
Have a motion and a second. Councilman.
Madam Chair, I normally wouldn't speak on a bill on third reading. We have had ample opportunity on second reading and during committees to talk about this bill, but there seems to be some lingering questions. Let me first of all explain the process. Back in the last term after the flood, Councilman Jernigan and others sponsored a bill that dramatically impacted the way Nashville would treat future development along our floodways and floodplains. And that bill received unanimous approval and support. Nashville is a unique county and a location. Our hills and valleys, the things that make our county special, also create problems in terms of such things as youth athletic facilities. And unfortunately, many of the flat places for our kids to play soccer, to play baseball, to play football have been and probably will continue to be developed along floodways and floodplains. So I went to Councilman Jernigan and explained what we were attempting to do. I visited with Tom Palco and our officials at the Metro Water Department and Stormwater Division, and they agreed that with the proper scrutiny and the proper conditions, that in certain cases it might be appropriate to allow these youth recreational facilities to be developed. Now, coming from a family who literally had an 81-year-old mother pulled out of her condo through a window during the rising waters of the Harpeth River, who had a daughter who teaches in Metro schools, rescued out of her condo down Coley Davis Road, there is no council member more sensitive to flooding issues and environmental concerns. I've watched with interest the Metro Greenways Bridge on Coley Davis Road at the Harpeth Youth Soccer Facility that is located in a floodway that was driven off its moorings during the flood and destroyed or nearly destroyed, being put back in place by the Metro Parks Department because of the benefits to our community. So it's obvious that our city and our community understand that in certain cases, development of recreational activities along these floodways and floodplains may be appropriate with the proper safeguards. So this procedure in this bill as amended would allow athletic facilities and the related structures, as long as they go through the proper procedures and as long as it can be proven that there would be no negative impact downstream, would allow these facilities to be built under limited circumstances. So I once again apologize for speaking on third reading, but this is an important enough bill for the youth of our community who desperately need places to play and places off the street. So I would appreciate your consideration tonight.
Councilmember Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I need to be recorded as a no. One of the things I have learned on the floodplain committee is that you have 3 months to change behavior after a historic flood, and I think we're proving that true. So I need to be recorded as a no.
Seeing no other discussion, we will have a machine vote. Madam Clerk, please close the machine.
Aye 31, no 6.
Motion passes. Now we'll go to BL 2011-31, amends the Metro Code regulating the acceptance of food and beverages for Metro government employees, elected officials, and members of boards and commissions. Councilmember Tiger.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-33 amends the Metro Code to provide the ability for procurement assistance for service-disabled veteran business enterprises. Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Madam President. With all of the committees in, I'd like to move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-34 amends the Metro Code relative to the regulation of excessive growth of vegetation and accumulation of weeds. Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, with all the committees approving, I'd like to move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-35 adopts property identification maps for Metro government for real estate and tax assessment purposes. Councilmember Claiborne. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committees have approved, so I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-36 authorizes the acquisition of easements for the Lakewood Laterals and Rehabilitation Project. Councilmember Jernigan.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-37 establishes a program for the purpose of providing assistance to low-income elderly residents of Metro government for fiscal year 2011-2012. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. 2011-38 approves an agreement for the indefinite loan of artwork to Metro government from Duffy Associates, Inc. Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2011-39. It approves a contract with United Road Towing for the administration and operation of the Metro impound lot. Mr. Cooper, would you like to explain the amendment that is before us?
Yes, ma'am. The rules should be suspended to consider an amendment to BL 2011-39 for the following reasons. First, as a result of a clerical error, the wrong contract was filed with the legislation. So the ordinance needs to be amended to include the correct document before the council proceeds. Second, the revised contract includes some provisions that were requested by members of council and representatives of the towing industry. Provision has been added clarifying that no one with any management responsibilities over the West Nashville Wrecker Service will have any management over the operation of the impound lot. So those two will be completely separate from any management or oversight standpoint. Another provision has been added obligating URT to comply with the police chief's general order governing which vehicles are taken to the impound lot versus those taken to the private record lots. So since this bill is on third reading, we need to suspend the rules so that this amendment can be added.
Is there any objection to a suspension of the rules for consideration of the amendment? Seeing none, Councilman Mitchell.
Yes, with that, I move the amendment.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The amendment passes. Councilman Mitchell.
I move approval.
We have a motion for approval on the bill as amended. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We need a machine vote. Has everyone voted? Madam Clerk, please close the machines.
Aye 35, no 2.
Motion passes. Next is BL 2011-41. Amends the Metro Code by changing the residency and stock ownership requirements for applicants seeking a certification of compliance for retail liquor license issued by the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Association. Councilmember Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Having been approved by all committees, I would move approval, ma'am.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Next is BL 2011-42. Authorizes utility relocation contract between the Department of Water and Sewage Services and the State Department of Transportation to relocate certain metro facilities required by the state's Battery Lane Bridge project. Councilmember Todd.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All committee reports in. I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-43 authorizes the acquisition of an easement for property located at 826 Cammock Court for the Westmead Reservoir project. Councilmember Evans.
All committee reports being in, I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is BL 2011-44, authorizes the acquisition of easements to upgrade the Metro Center pump station at the intersection of Mainstream Drive and Great Circle Road. Councilmember Hunt.
With all the committees in, I'd like to move for approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-45 abandons a water main and sanitary sewer line and accepts the relocation of a water main, one fire hydrant, and one manhole located at 2010 Bernard Circle. Councilmember Hunt.
Thank you. I would like to move for approval with all the committees reporting.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2011-46 authorizes the acceptance of an easement for property located at 7158 Old Hickory Boulevard for the Whites Creek Stream Bank Stabilization Program. Councilmember Hunt.
Yes, with all the committees reporting, I'd like to move for approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is RS 2011-63, requests the Davidson County delegation to the Tennessee General Assembly to support legislation to require metro government authorities and agencies created under state law to condition the payment of governmental funds to contractors doing work in Davidson County upon proof of a valid business tax license issued by Davidson County Clerk. Councilmember Tiger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee report, please.
Councilmember McGuire.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. At the request of the sponsor, Budget and Finance voted to defer indefinitely 12-4, none against.
Councilman Tiger.
My motion is to defer indefinitely at the request of the Finance Department.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.
1-0 Phoenix.